Total Recall, my unbelievably true life story by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Incredible book. Recommend that you get it. He talks about everything, how he came up from a foreign country, grew up. His dad was he was born in a foreign country. Dad was a policeman. And as a kid, he had a fascination by one of these guys that was in his neighborhood. He was a professor or a teacher, and he had a lot of muscles. So he kind of had a fascination with that. So he went up to the teacher and asked him, what do you do to get these kind of muscles? And he showed him the type of workouts and what kind of diet that he needed to eat to get those muscles. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, during the summer as a kid, he just kept working, trying to build those muscles, kept building those muscles. So he started building muscles. As he started building the muscles, he had a fascination for it. Started getting into magazines and thinking about getting in magazines and bodybuilding. So he got into bodybuilding, started lifting weights, met some people, and anyhow got flown out to Miami. When he got flown out to Miami, excuse me. When he got flown out to Miami, that's when he met some people. He met some big people that was in bodybuilding. Now, this was when not the inception of bodybuilding, but this is when bodybuilding was starting to, blow up and have a name for itself. So he was staying, he came out here with no money, was staying with people, just trying to make it, just like anybody else in typical Hollywood story or whatever. He stayed out here. He stayed out in Florida, and had a bodybuilding competition that he entered, and he didn't get the results that he wanted. So he was very, very upset that he didn't place where he wanted to place. So he came in like, you know what? Next time I come, I'm gonna come prepared. I'm gonna come here like killing shit. I'm about to come here, and they about to know who I am. They gonna know where I'm from. They gonna remember Schwarzenegger. So that he did. He practiced his poses. He's very mental, very manipulative as far as getting inside people's heads. He would go to bodybuilders and play games with them like, wow, if I had calves like those, man, I'd spend an extra couple hours. But you're okay, right? You got it. So he would get into their mind, and the bodybuilders would be like teenage girls, like checking their calves out and, doing extra little exercises to get their calves right. And he was very smart. And his poses was just impeccable. So he had the poses and everything down. He worked hard. He won a competition. When he won that competition, he flew out to California and I guess entered some competitions out here. And he actually bought an apartment building in Santa Monica. That's how he started. So he bought some real estate. Now, most immigrants that was coming out to U.S. back then, they was just thinking of just have a shelter over their head. They wasn't thinking about buying an apartment, big dreams. But Arnold Schwarzenegger had big dreams. So, this is a type of guy where you tell him he's not going to do something, he takes that as motivation. Most people take criticism and be like, you know what, I'm not I'm not going to do it because they're just going to criticize me. I don't want to have to go through that criticism. Well, Schwarzenegger says, I'm going to go against whoever says, it don't matter who it is to tell him he can't do something. He's going to try to prove him wrong. So he bought some property out here. Was working out at Gold's Gym in Venice Beach. Working little menial jobs, working security, because guys that had his size, they was usually working bouncers at a club. So he was working as a bouncer, and he was getting little jobs here and there in movies. Like he had one where he was like supposed to be Conan, but he's in Brooklyn or some mess, Conan in New York or something like that. And that was funny. And he took all of these crazy little movie whatever movies he can get into. Was playing I Love Lucy, whatever he can get into. And he was really rising. He was really getting his name out there with the bodybuilding. He was killing it in the competitions. Plus, you know, a typical day for him was he would go to Santa Monica College for about however long, take his classes. When he finished his classes, you know, I guess study or whatnot. After he finished study, he go to the gym, bust out 4 hours, 4-hour workouts. Yeah, he did steroids. He admitted to him doing steroids, but this guy worked hard. I mean, anybody could take steroids, but I mean, to work that hard, to have that much focus and dedication, to have those type of muscles and stuff, he says, you know, steroids help, but not to the extent that you would think. It only helped in recovery. It didn't help like as far as like other stuff. It was cool, but your diet still had to be good. You couldn't eat bad if you took steroids. You still had to eat good. So he kept his diet tight. He made sure every competition his diet was to a T. His poses was getting better. Just incredible story. And he just kept going at it. I mean, as far as his dreams, he kept going at it. And what ended up happening was he got a couple movie offers to actually do Conan, and he talks about him getting the Conan deal, and he insulted a director, and the director got upset with him and tried to hold that against him, so he kind of had to try to mend the little fence with the little beef that they had with each other. And but the director was upset because Arnold said something funny, and Arnold he did Conan. Sounds like his first big movie that he did, and he just kept working his way up the ladder. Eventually, he met he was doing Conan, and he met Maria Shriver, and forgot how they said they met, but he was blowing up. He had a little fame on him, and he met Maria Shriver. They kind of just fell in love, and things just went from there. But he did Terminator, and that's when he really took off. And he talks about him and how him and Sylvester Stallone had beef because Sylvester Stallone was making like big money back in the 80s. He was making like, I don't know, $10 million a movie or something like that. And Schwarzenegger was doing movies where he was getting beat up. Like he said one movie he did with what's the girl, the lady, I forgot. She was in Flavor of Love. I forgot. I think her last name is Nielsen or whatever. But he did a movie with her, and you know the movie was really bad. He had a lot of movies that didn't do well until he got Terminator. But when he got Terminator, that's what really put him on a national map. Like I'll be back, all the one-liners and stuff. That took him to the next level. He talks about how he invested more money in more real estate, and I mean, you know, him and the Kennedys, you know, they had some long money, so they bought a lot of property in Santa Monica. I used to, before the book, I used to think, man, this guy's a rich son of a gun. He don't care about nobody, because he was a governor of California back then. I didn't know. The way the media spin it, they made him seem like he was just some Fox News kind of George Bush kind of right-wing arrogant kind of guy. So I was like, but the book changed my mind, changed my perspective and my impression on him. He's a very, very intelligent man. Took him like 10 years of junior college and going to school to get to a point where he eventually got his degree. He got his degree and he worked his way up. No matter what, he always was trying to learn. And he started getting bigger and better movies. And I laugh because I failed to mention he talks about he did some movie called Pumping Iron. It's actually on Netflix, I believe. And Pumping Iron is analogous with the book. So it's like, when you read the book and you watch the documentary, you see a young ass cocky Schwarzenegger talking about, oh yeah, I love the pump. When I feel the pump, I guess when you pumping weights, very, very intense, you feel like adrenaline through your body. And he says when he feels the pump, it feels better than coming. Now that was just hilarious to me because it was just a young cocky ass Arnold. Now he was lying, of course. He was pumping it up, but the way he said it, he really convinced people. Like, wow, he did that because he didn't want to make bodybuilders seem like circus clowns. Because back then they saw people who had like big muscular bodies as people that were like clowns, like, they were just kind of freak shows. So he was trying to change the stigma of bodybuilders. So that was what the whole Pumping Iron movie was about. But it's just funny looking at a young ass cocky Arnold fuck with Lou Ferrigno's head, and young Lou Ferrigno. It was just incredible. Like just looking at that, and I say you watch that too. You watch the documentary as well. But really like that documentary, Pumping Iron. But he talks about several stories of movies, and actually, if you follow my sports, he talks about Wilt Chamberlain, a movie he did with Wilt Chamberlain, where Wilt Chamberlain had said some stuff that was like, wow, Wilt Chamberlain said that? Yeah, he has some lines in there in that book that Schwarzenegger claimed Wilt Chamberlain said. Very interesting. He talks about how he got on the board with George Bush Sr. And George Bush was like, I'm gonna have you as a fitness ambassador. So he came on. He was educating people around the time Kindergarten Cop came out. He was talking about how people should take fitness more serious. So he was fitness ambassador, and he started thinking, man, why couldn't I run for governor? So he thought about it. He ran for governor. People was like, well, this is crazy. This dude this is Terminator. Some way, somehow, he won governor. And, he worked his way as a governor. He had a lot of critics. He admitted his mistakes. He talks about everything. He talks about his divorce. He talks about the mistress, the child out of wedlock. He talks about everything. And this guy is incredible. He has a few points that he drives home. He talks about how he's met different people across the world, like the Pope, different people that he met just being a governor or just traveling around the world that actually keep in shape, that take care of themselves. And he said that's why he thinks it's very important that everyone tries to find time to get in shape, because if the Pope can stay in shape, what is your excuse? He also talks about how you need to be always trying to learn and always try to better yourself, and no matter what it is, and how you need to work hard. He's just a positive guy, just telling you stuff that'll help you. He talks about how politically it was a lot of people trying to spin stuff that he said, because he was married to the Kennedys. The Kennedys are far left, and Schwarzenegger's far right. So, but he was a person that was fair. If you read the book, you read some of the stuff that he did as governor that I wouldn't think that a Republican would do, but I guess they didn't really report that, or it went under the radar. But great book. I mean, out of a 10, I would give it a 7.5, 8. I got more book reviews coming, so be prepared. I'm Eddie Starr. Like, comment, subscribe.